We're here today in Old Town Tustin at the corner of Main and El Camino Real, right in front of something called the Tustin Area Museum. We hear that there's some really exciting things going on in here in this museum, and we're going to go in and see if we can find out what's happening. So here we are now inside the Tustin Area Museum, and we have the good fortune of running into the president of the Tustin Area Historical Society, Mr. Pete Beatty, and you can tell us what's going on in here.
Well, welcome to the museum. We are going through a complete change of the museum after 40 years.
I can tell it looks like it.
And what's kind of humorous in a way is people walking by and looking in, they go, are you moving? Are you going out of business? And we go, no, no, no. We're doing a lot of things in here. And as you notice...
Oh, you sure are.
Oh, yeah. And as you notice, there's a redone floor, there's new painting, there's new lights. There's a new data center in the back with all the bells and whistles you want for today's technology.
That's great. And this floor is amazing.
It is, isn't it?
I was in here some time ago and it was dark. Boy, this is just fantastic. Amazing.
Well, let me tell you how this all happened. A year ago, actually the beginning of last year when I took the first term as president, I was trying to find ways of making changes with the showcases to get more variety. And I came up with a price, and the board said basically, gee, why spend that money when we can do more? And we had a small limited amount of money, so we went out to the general public and our members, and they came through with flying colors. And so
that's great.
It's one of those things where you look at it and you go, what the heck have I started here? And it was really a labor of love. We formed a committee, and everybody had their specific things that their duty was, and they went out there and did it with robust. They really did a great job. And so here we are, and we're proceeding, and hopefully we'll open within a month.
Well, that's great. And can I come back and interview some of these committee members about what their tasks were?
Yes, absolutely, because every story is a little different. And as we went along, there were changes. I mean, there are always changes, you know, and there was a little fighting back and forth and compromising. It was quite dynamic, but the big thing I want to tell people is that the people in the museum, the volunteers, the members of the board, all had a huge heart, and they all worked very, very hard to make this happen.
That's great, and I'm glad to see that the fire truck is still here. That's the image of the Tustin Area Museum.
And it's on all our logos and all our advertising. So just have everybody come in. You're welcome. In another month, please come in. And we are observing different precautions here because we know there is a virus right now. So we're wiping things, and we're doing things that are appropriate that the state requires us to do.
That's good. So come down when it's open, and you're going to see some fantastic changes in the Tustin Area Museum. And this is a rich part of Tustin's history. Well, here we are again in the Tustin Area Museum, where all this tremendous renovation is going on. And today we're going to talk to some of the people that did the physical hard work of getting all the stuff moved out and then moved back in after they were finishing painting and all that work with us, fixing up the floors and everything. So we're going to talk to the people today. So the first person we're going to interview this morning is Brady Mitchell.
How do you do?
Hi, Brady.
Good to see you.
I understand you're on the board of directors.
I am on the board of directors now in my second year.
Good. Tell us a little bit about what you did.
Well, on March 28th, we moved all the kind of light duty stuff downstairs, and we rented a U-Haul, and we moved all the heavy duty stuff in that U-Haul where we put it in a storage facility in Irvine. Completely cleaned out the entire museum.
What you had to do the floor and all the painting.
Exactly. We could not do any work before we got this place cleared out at all.
And there's a full basement underneath, so some
full basement, yeah. But the basement is pretty packed. So, and we're not going to take some of this heavy stuff downstairs. We're going to just load it in a U-Haul, and it was a lot easier to get that down a ramp and in a storage facility.
That's great. And we appreciate your wonderful volunteerism to do all that.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
You look like you're strong enough to lift a few things.
Against my wife's best wishes, I did this with a bad back. So.
Well, that's good, and it really looks nice, and I can tell a lot of this stuff is pretty darn heavy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, but this was a total joint effort. We had Kurt Bensworth, Reef Bensworth, Sandra Bensworth.
The whole Bensworth family,
The
huh?
whole Bensworth family
Okay.
was in here. We all loaded it out. It was a total group effort. You'd be amazed at how fast we got this thing done. And it was gutted like nothing else. So.
Well, we're going to interview the rest of the Bensworth family here and
sure. Absolutely.
maybe show some of the stuff that had to get moved.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Some of you will remember that we've interviewed Kurt Bensworth, who's the treasurer of the Tustin Area Historical Society, but he also did a lot of the heavy lifting. So we're going to interview him about another aspect of what he did to help this marvelous renovation. Morning, Kurt.
Good morning. How are you, Ivan?
And I'd like for you to introduce your family members that helped out.
Sure. This is my wife, Sandra Bensworth.
Hello.
This
Sandra.
is my son, Reef Bensworth,
Nice to meet both of you.
and our adopted father, Pete Beatty.
So tell us a little bit about what all of you had to do to get this stuff in and out.
Well, it was a heavy load, and I know initially when we took all these items out of here, Brady and I, as well as all the other members here, we got together and rented a U-Haul, like you said before, and we just picked it all up. There's some quite heavy items here.
I can tell.
There are things that weigh. There was one particular item that weighed over 400 pounds. So.
Wow.
Yeah, so we did it as a team. As Brady had said before, it was a team effort. Without all of us, this would not have been done.
So did you enjoy doing all that heavy lifting?
Yes, the heavy lifting was very heavy, but fortunately we had the use of some dollies and some leverage, so it really helped to be able to move these pieces, but we had some heavy muscles here to lift them up. And then
Dollies are good.
Dollies were our best friend that day because they were very, very heavy pieces.
Reef, you look particularly young and strong, so I'm sure they used you quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, as much as possible. I mean, the big thing was just rolling those things up into the U-Haul. I think that was the most difficult part.
And also trying to just protect the artifacts because they are old, fragile pieces. As heavy as they are, we just wanted to make sure that they were moved safely.
Yeah, everything's delicate and very old and needed to be treated nicely. And now we have Pete Beatty back with us, who, as a reminder, is the president of the Tustin Area Historical Society. Good morning, Pete.
Good morning. I had to say a few things about this group. In the very first video I mentioned about the perfect storm. This is the perfect storm. I mean, these guys had Tustin in their heart, and they were aggressive, and as soon as we said we were going to move, they were practically saying, when? We got to do this. So, and again, some of the people here were outstanding, and Brady and his family were just unbelievable. I stood back and said, how is this all working? How did this happen? Well, it did, and I'm very proud to be part of this group.
Well, you should be. They've done an amazing job. It's just such a wonderful, amazing transformation from the old museum that we all knew.
Yeah, really.
It's quite different.
And someone had said one time that when you open a new museum, your membership goes up, and we're going like, yes.
Well, I think a lot of members are going to want to come down here and see this new place with the same old stuff, but there's a lot of new old stuff, I noticed.
Yeah, there is, and also we've added a lot of technology where we can do Zoom meetings. We're now working with the school system to set up where they can learn from their house or from the schoolroom with videos that we're going to be taking in each one of these areas and having past third grade school teachers giving the presentation, which is very good.
Some people may not know it, but for years we've had third graders come in school buses and we take them through.
Yeah, well, it's a requirement in the school, and we realize with the situation now that a lot of the kids aren't going to be going to school. Some may, some not. And we need to be able to reach out to them and make sure that the parents feel comfortable with our presentations.
And I think we ought to interview the people that are doing all the high-tech stuff, but I see flat screen TVs everywhere, so it looks like it's going to be a lot of things could be called up on those screens.
Yes, and I'm having the company that did all the technical stuff be the next video we do, and then we'll move on to other videos. And this is all being done to put in the history book so people can look back and see what everybody and what they did. So, thank you.
That's great. And again, the entire Bensworth family, we're happy to see all of you here and happy for your contribution of all that heavy lifting.
Thank you, guys.
And of course, I've interviewed Steve before, but you were an instrumental part of this.
Well, the moving out, I just kind of helped move dollies around. I basically tried to stay out of the way because I can't do the heavy lifting like I used to. But we had strong people here that could, so I was kind of directing and ignoring the people who are trying to tell me what to do because that's what I do. So anyway, but
Well, I know you helped a lot because I heard you broke a couple fingers.
I did, 2 broken fingers from the move, but that's, if that's the biggest injury,
There's always workers' compensation, right?
yeah, that's true, but I don't know that works for volunteers, so.
I'm sure it doesn't. Well, this has been a wonderful interview with all the people that did the heavy lifting, and it's just an amazing transformation, absolutely amazing. And I'm sure that many of you are anxious for everything to open up, but in particular museums, so you can come down and see this wonderful new place.
Done?
Thank you.